Now, if you don't have a book, or if you don't have something like a pack of virtues cards, or if you don't have explanations for the virtues, you can always go on the CJ website. That's the Charles J. Andrew Youth and Family Treatment Center Facebook page. And as far as I can tell, all of my videos are there. And in each of the video, I talk thoroughly about quite a few virtues. And we'll continue, okay? Today, we're going to be looking at the virtue of joyfulness. So how to apply the Family Virtues Guide in your family. Introducing the Virtues Project to your children. That's basically what we want to do. Now, there's lots of ways to use the principles and strategies of the Virtues Project in your life and in your family. For some people, speaking the language of the virtues is enough to create an atmosphere of greater peace and kindness at home. When you're speaking the language of the virtues. And really, I look at the virtues as like learning a different language. Like learning a different language. Others may want to try some of the suggestions here as a way of helping your family to focus on one of the 52 virtues in the Family Virtues Guide on a weekly basis. Don't forget, these are suggestions. That's what they are. You may have other ways of doing it, which is quite fine. You will discover the approach that works best given your own interests, and the ages of your children. The following ideas are meant to help you get started. And please feel free to use whatever works for you and change the rest. Your own enthusiasm is what will carry that will carry the project in your household. Your enthusiasm. You know what enthusiasm means? It means God within. We should look at I think I looked at the virtue of enthusiasm in a past video, but it's probably worth looking at again at some point. Now, the Virtues Project is a program for personal and spiritual growth rather than a technique to be used just to change the behavior of children. Now, it's good for spiritual growth, of course, because we know that the virtues are already inside of us and that they are spiritual attributes of God. And that's why it's good for spiritual growth. Your willingness to set spiritual goals for yourself, such as a new habit of self-discipline, in the way you do your work, or care for your health, or create time for reverence, will help your children to understand what the virtues are about, that the virtues are about real life. It is very important that you model honesty by being real when you take part in the sharing. Now remember, we said before that the best way to teach your children the virtues is for you to be virtuous. If you're doing it, the children will develop that habit. So suggestions for getting started. Set a time to meet. Number one, set a time to meet. Invite your family to a gathering at a specific time, explaining that you will be sharing a new family activity you have learned about. Announce it in advance and arrange a time which is convenient for everyone. Don't reveal too much about it. Let some surprise build up, okay? You know how to handle that. Number two, open with something simple and reverent. This can be lighting a candle, saying a prayer, putting the Family Virtues Guide on a lovely cloth. You could have your prayer book on the table, the Bible too, if you wish. You might want to have smudging materials there because you may want to smudge. Some people burn tobacco, some burn some kind of incense, so the decision is yours, but it's a way of making this particular time special. The children will look forward to it. Say some brief words of welcome, naming each person's name, or have a simple prayer such as, "We are thankful to be together." Help us to open our hearts to new ideas and to support each other with love and respect. So, making it pretty, making it special. Then describe the Family Virtues Guide. That's what you need to do next. Describe the book, because you're going to have it there sitting on the table. Hopefully you're going to get one, right? Using words which fit your children's ages. Tell them something brief, such as, I have been reading a wonderful book. People all over the world of all different colors, religions, countries, and different cultures are using it. Do you know why? It tells us what's good about us. It helps us to remember to be the best people we can be. It teaches us words about virtues. I would like to have a meeting once a week to look at one of the virtues in this book and help each other to practice it. See, there's 52 virtues because there's 52 weeks in the year, so you get to look at one per week. So let's say, for example, you choose to look at yours on, say, Sunday. Then you would have another meeting the following Sunday, but all the other days of the week, you will be looking for each person in the family, catching them practicing the virtue. That's what you have to do. Each person gets to practice for the next 7 days. And then you would introduce another virtue, and the same thing would happen. If you have older children, for example, ages 9 to 14, you may want to set a different tone. You might say something like, I have discovered a book being used all over the world to help families grow closer and to help each person in the family in their own personal growth. It's called the Family Virtues Guide. I would like to propose we meet for 3 weeks to choose a virtue each week, work on it in ourselves, and support each other by sharing about it at the end of the week. That's the other thing, that when you meet the next time, you would have your circle, and we're going to get into that too, you have your circle, and each person would share how they practice that virtue during the week. The Family's Virtues Guide is about what's good about us. Let me give you an example. Then give virtues acknowledgments about a specific virtue you have observed in each person in the family. So prepare this ahead of time and ask one person to acknowledge a virtue in you. They can look at the 52 virtues on page 64 in the book, or I posted them on the comments, and I can do that again. I can put them in the comments, I guess, each week. So you can print them out. Examples. Here's some examples. John, I noticed your courage when you spoke to your teacher about that late assignment. Maria, you were being considerate when you helped me find my keys. Be sure to acknowledge the adults in the family as well. This is not something adults are doing to kids. It's not doing to kids. We're working on this together, all adults and children. So you might say, Grandma, I want to acknowledge you for your patience when we all got home so late for dinner on Tuesday after the game. Patience. So, set clear boundaries for a sharing circle. Set clear boundaries. When your family is sharing about virtues, you need to practice some boundaries in the form of ground rules to keep it special. One way to do that is to establish a time during the meeting for a sharing circle. The boundaries for a sharing circle are, here they are, courtesy. We will treat each other as we wish to be treated. When we are sharing about our own virtues practice, there will be no cross-talk, only courteous silence. That makes sense. Respect. We will listen to one another in silence, being deeply present to each other without interrupting, criticizing, advising, or teasing. Love it. Trustworthiness. We will keep everything someone says in this sharing time private. It is not okay to bring up anything anyone shares in this gathering later, unless that person gives permission to do so. You may want to spend time in your first meeting making a boundaries poster and having each person contribute by coloring a border or cutting out a magazine picture which fit each boundary, or drawing a picture to illustrate each boundary. I mean, you can have some fun with this, you know. Choose a virtue to practice this week. Choose one to practice this week. At this point, You need to model respect and unity by inviting everyone to express how they would like to do this, either by beginning with the first virtue in the guide or picking one that your family agrees is most needed. You may choose to have a silent vote by passing up bits of paper and have each one write his preference on it. Or it may work better to simply begin with the first virtue and work your way through all 52. So, for example, the first virtue is assertiveness. So you can start with that one, move to the next, When the virtue is chosen, read from each of the 4 pages on the guide. And I'm going to do that with the virtue of joyfulness so you understand how that one is done. Write the affirmation on a piece of paper and post it somewhere that everyone can see it. And at the end of each virtue, we do the affirmation. Explain that each of you will come to the family meeting next week and share your experiences of practicing this virtue and will acknowledge times you saw each other practicing the virtue. So you're looking for it in other people as well. An alternative way to choose a virtue to practice is to do a virtues pick. Having each person close their eyes and flip open the family virtues guide to a virtue. This can be the virtue she practices for the next week. So there's the beginning of of setting up the virtues in your home. And there's some more to this, of course, and we're going to look at this on Wednesday or Friday. It may not be Wednesday. It may be Friday, and I think we may actually be able to finish that chapter the next time. So that would be nice. Looks like this here, my clients wanted me to use this as a bookmark, okay? So I use it as a bookmark. I don't know if you can guess who this is. You can try. Try and guess who it is. It's backwards, the words there, so you mightn't be able to guess the name, mightn't be able to read it. Have you guessed it? Do you know who it is? No, it doesn't look like me, but it was me. I think I was about maybe 20 years older, maybe 19, something like that. I wasn't very old back then, so that was a while ago. Okay, so that was nice, and now we're like I promised, we're going to look at the virtue of joyfulness. So, you would open this, say, for your family, and the first thing you would do is read the quote. Okay, and the quote, of course, comes from various religions, which are mentioned at the back of the Family Virtues Guide as well. This particular quote for joyfulness actually comes from Abdu'l-Baha in the book called Paris Talks. So here it is: joy gives us wings. In times of joy, our strength is more vital, our intellect keener, and our understanding less clouded. We seem better able to cope with the world and to find our sphere of influence. Now, if any of my clients are listening, they know what the sphere of influence means. Okay, so what is joyfulness? Joyfulness is being filled with happiness, peace, love, and a sense of well-being. Joy is inside all of us, as all the virtues are. Okay, we need to nurture them. It comes from a sense of being loved. It comes from an appreciation for the gift of life. It comes when we are doing what we know is right. Joy is related to fun, but is not exactly the same thing. Fun comes from what is happening outside of us. Having a good time. Joy, however, comes from what is happening inside. Now, you see the difference between, happiness or just having fun, and the difference between that and joy? Joy is actually a virtue that's coming out from inside of us. Joyfulness is always there regardless of what is happening on the outside. You can invest this inner joy in anything you do. See where, they say you have a choice to be joyful. Even though things horrible may be happening around you, you could still choose to be joyful. You can enjoy doing your chores or your homework or even a job that's boring or unpleasant. If you look inside and find your joy, you can make it a joyful job. And of course, we know there's people that are working that hate their jobs and wish they could have a different job, but while we're doing that job, we have to reach inside and bring that joyfulness out. And if you do that, you'll also make people that are around you that may be doing the same job happy as well, right? Make them joyful. Joy is the inner sense that can carry us through hard times even when we are feeling very sad. So why should we practice it? Without inner joy, all our feelings are determined by what is happening to us. Without inner joy, all our feelings are determined by what is happening to us. When things are going well on the outside, we feel good. When things are going wrong on the outside, we feel bad. Up and down, up and down. Without an inner sense of joy, we feel bounced around by the pain and pleasure of whatever is happening to us. Without joyfulness, when the fun stops, our happiness stops. See that? Without joyfulness, without this virtue that's inside of us, when the fun stops, our happiness stops. Without joyfulness, sadness gets deeper and deeper. Read that again. Without joyfulness, sadness gets deeper and deeper. If we are joyful, things still happen to us, some good and some bad. If we are joyful, down deep we stay calm and serene. We continue to feel loved and safe. When good things happen, we are glad, and the happy feelings last longer. When we are hurt, we naturally feel sad. When we draw on the inner strength of joyfulness, sadness does not keep getting deeper and deeper. It just comes and goes. So that's why we should practice joyfulness. So how do you practice it? Joyfulness comes from your spirit. You find it inside. It keeps saying that. We find it inside. You are aware that life is a gift. Whenever you are whatever you're doing, do it with a joyful heart. Read that again. Whatever you're doing, do it with a joyful heart. Not to mention the fact that the people around you deserve that you do that. When good things happen to you, enjoy them fully. When sad things happen, let the sadness come. Then let it go. Find the gifts in what is happening. Is this a way to become stronger? Something new to learn? Everything that happens to us is trying to teach us something. Everything that happens to us may actually give us an opportunity to practice another virtue. Be aware of that. Be conscious of it. Think about it the next time. Joyfulness comes when you have a good laugh. I have lots of those. Humor is a wonderful source of joy. And people keep telling me I have dry jokes, but they laugh at them anyway. As long as they laugh at them, that's okay. Let yourself feel your inner peace and joy even when things are tough. Hard times pass. Remember, you're always loved. You have been since you've been born. And remember, we are always in the presence of the Creator. He's always there to help us if we want that help. If we turn to Him in prayer, He's there to help us. Hey, congratulations! You're practicing joyfulness when if you follow these, then you know you're practicing it. Look inside for your inner happiness. When you believe that God created you and loves you always, you are practicing joyfulness when you enjoy whatever it is that you're doing. When you appreciate some gift in your life. When you appreciate some gift in yourself, don't forget that. You're practicing joyfulness when you feel an inner peace, even when things are tough. And you're practicing joyfulness when you remember to laugh. Remember to laugh. It's very important for you. Laughter can actually help cure diseases. Because you can't be mad if you're laughing. If you're having fun and practicing joyfulness, you can't be mad. Therefore, the negative energy kind of dissipates. So here's the affirmation. Write it out, they said. You could stick it on your fridge or stick it on the door. Stick it somewhere, especially if you're doing this for children. Make sure you put it at their eye level so they're able to read it easily and see it easily. Here it is. I am thankful for the joy I feel inside. I enjoy my work and my play. I appreciate the gifts this day holds for me. So being conscious of it, I think that's really what it's telling us. Be conscious of joyfulness because we all have it inside of us. And it's by nurturing it that it starts to come out. If you don't do that, then of course you start to fill up with the negativity and the bad things, right? Now, I got a tiny little story here for you from the Sacred Moments, and this is about joyfulness. Just a short one, but I love it, so I'm going to read it, okay? Here it is. It was Christmas Day. My son sat on the floor, plump little legs, splayed, eyes wide and sparkling. Can you picture that? He looked up and held his breath as he was handed the gift. Remember, it's Christmas Day. He gently touched the bright red ribbon adorning the top, then pulled it off and stuck it on his shirt, looked around proudly. He picked up the box and sucked on one corner, then with a shout and a wild giggle began tearing at the shiny paper. He pulled off the top of the box and dumped the tissue paper and what it contained on the floor. After bunching up the paper in his little hands and bending low to hear its crispness, he jumped up, placed the box on his head, and paraded around the room. "Honey," his grandma said, "don't you want your present?" He turned around with a look of surprise, as if to say, "You mean there's more?" Joyfulness. He had more fun with the empty box. Never even noticed the present that was inside, right? Oh, if we could only be like that. Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, I've seen that before. I've seen kids take take the present out, put it aside, and had all kinds of fun with the box. Have you seen that? I bet you have. Oh my, oh my, oh my. That was fun. Here's another quote. Again, this one happens to be from Abdu'l-Baha. Joy gives us wings. In times of joy, our strength is more vital, our intellect keener, and our understanding less clouded. We seem better able to cope with the world and to find our sphere of influence. Boy, did I read that one before? Maybe I did. Don Blanding says, joy is an inside job. Joy is inside of us, right? Joy is an inside job. Get it? Joy, this comes from Peggy Jenkins. Joy is the presence of love for self and for others, a state of gratitude and compassion, an awareness of being connected to our higher self and of being one with everything. Joy is the presence of love for self and for others. So, some questions to ponder. What gives you joy? And by that I mean, what causes the joy inside of you to come forth? How can you practice joyfulness when things aren't going well? I've thought about that. You know, we got to think about those things, right? What cheers you up when you feel down? When you're feeling down, what is it that cheers you up? What gives you joy? Here's one with your family. Okay, you gather around. Maybe when you're having your first circle, you know, your first group. Share a funny thing that happened to you, and get everybody laughing. Get everybody laughing. And share one of the most enjoyable times you ever spent with your family. Share one of the most enjoyable times you ever spent with your family. They love this stuff. You could do this one in your virtue sharing circle. sit or stand, doesn't matter, in a circle, and each person shares one thing that they enjoy or that brings them joy. So that's another way to do it, in a virtuous circle. So just some little ideas that you can work on. And I'll try to remember to post the list of the virtues again in the comments, so if you need them. But if you, I suppose you could, comment or text me, and I'll try to get a copy of the virtues to you as well. That's another option. So again, I want to point out that we are a family treatment center, family Aboriginal treatment center. And if you want to make contact with us, the number is area code 709-497-8995, extension 227. Speak with Dylan, and Dylan will be able to fill you in on everything you need to know about applying to our center and coming to our center, what to expect when you get here, all of those things that are necessary. He's the man to talk to, okay? You can go on our Facebook page. You're there already, Charles J. Andrew Newton Family Treatment Center. You type that in and it'll come up. And if you're not a member of the page, please request to join the page. And we'll be glad to have you. So again, if you have addictions and you need help, please try and gather the courage to at least reach out so we can discuss things with you and maybe help you. We want to be able to reach our hand out and give you a hand up. Everything that happens, of course, if you call the center, everything that happens with Dylan and all this information is all confidential, so don't worry about it. Nobody's going to find out unless you talk about it yourself. Okay? And I think that's that little bit for now. Okay? So if you need help, gather the courage. We want to hear from you. Okay, we want to see what we can do to help you. So I may not be on Wednesday. If I am, I'll be contacting you. And if I am, it'll be from Labrador City, or I'll be on in the evening, one or the other. But I will be on Friday. I'll be here on Friday to maybe even finish up this section on setting up the virtues program in your home. Okay. So I want to thank you very much for being with me at 6 o'clock. This is the latest I think I've been on, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to post a video now, so you want to look at that again, you can. Oh, and on YouTube, I always post my videos on YouTube, and if you just type in Bob Jackman, now remember, you'll find a whole lot of Bob Jackmans, but look for my face. My picture is there, and if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see all the virtues there, and you can watch them again, okay, and see how you can use them in your family circle, okay. So until Wednesday or Friday, take care, stay away from the coronavirus, stay safe, all that stuff, and enjoy the day tomorrow because it's going to be 19 degrees and sunny. So until then, take care, and bye for now.